The Awakening Storm. The Meridian cruiser glided silently over the ruins of Chicago, its crystalline hull glinting in the morning sunlight. Captain Zorax stood on the observation deck, six dark eyes surveying what remained of the once great human city. After 5 years of occupation, nature had begun reclaiming concrete and steel. Vines crawled up skyscrapers, while trees pushed through cracked pavement. The humans called it destruction. The Meridians called it progress. Status report, Zorax commanded, mandibles clicking with mild irritation. All sectors secure, Captain, Lieutenant Vexra replied. Mining operations in the Michigan Quadrant are exceeding quotas. Human resistance in this region has been negligible for 8 months. Zorax nodded, carapace shifting subtly with satisfaction. The conquest of Earth had been surprisingly efficient, far more so than Meridian High Command had anticipated. Humans, for all their supposed ingenuity, had fallen in just 14 months. Their uncoordinated military forces, fragmented political structures, and primitive weaponry were no match for the unified might of the collective. And the processing centers, Zorax inquired, operating at 93% efficiency. Another 10,000 humans were cleared for labor redistribution yesterday. Zorax turned from the view. Excellent. Set course for the Western Outpost. I want to inspect their containment protocols personally. As the cruiser banked west, neither Zorax nor any other Meridian detected the subtle energy spike emanating from deep beneath the Montana wilderness, 400 miles away. Dr. Elena Reyes hadn't seen daylight in 5 years. Living in the depths of Project Thunderstrike's secret facility wasn't how she'd imagined spending her 40s, but circumstances had changed when the Meridians arrived. As one of Earth's foremost experts in biotechnology and neural enhancement, she'd been whisked away to the facility days before Washington fell. She stood now in the stasis chamber, surrounded by 72 transparent pods, each containing a single human floating in luminescent blue fluid. Her life's work, humanity's last contingency plan. Status change in Pod 17, announced the facility's AI, its voice echoing through the cavernous room. Increased neural activity detected. Elena rushed to the monitoring station. Show me the readings. Holographic displays materialized, showing brain wave patterns accelerating beyond baseline parameters. Pod 17 contained Commander Alicia Hayes, former Special Forces operative and the first volunteer for the Thunderstrike augmentation process. It's too early, Elena muttered, fingers dancing across the controls. The activation sequence wasn't scheduled for another month. The AI's voice remained calm. Catalyst detected. External signal triggered emergency awakening protocols. What signal? From where? Unknown source. Signal pattern matches doomsday parameters. Elena's blood ran cold. The doomsday parameters were the final threshold, programmed to activate only when verified human military resistance had ceased worldwide. If that signal had triggered, it meant the last organized human forces had fallen. She swallowed hard. Begin emergency revival sequence. All pods. Warning. Subjects may experience disorientation and incomplete neural integration if awakened ahead of schedule. We don't have a choice, Elena replied, watching as Commander Hayes' pod began draining fluid. If that signal is legitimate, we're all that's left. Alicia Hayes first became aware of the burning in her lungs, then the ache that seemed to permeate every cell in her body. Memory came in fragments. The invasion, the desperate battles, volunteering for Project Thunderstrike, the agonizing enhancement procedures that rewrote her DNA and integrated quantum nanocircuitry into her nervous system. She gasped as the pod opened, choking on recycled air that felt like fire in her lungs. Strong hands helped her sit upright. Through blurred vision, she recognized Elena's face. Commander Hayes, Elena said, relief evident in her voice. Can you hear me? Alicia tried to speak, but produced only a raspy cough. Her enhanced senses were coming online in disorienting waves, sounds too loud, lights too bright. even the subtle vibrations of the facility's environmental systems pulsing against her skin. How? She finally managed, her augmented vocal cords feeling strange as they formed words. How long? 5 years, 2 months, 17 days, Alina answered, handing her a hydration pack. Drink this. It will help stabilize your system. As Alicia drank, her enhanced body began rapidly adjusting, cellular repair accelerating, neural pathways stabilizing. Around her, other pods were opening, her fellow volunteers emerging with similar disorientation. The signal, Alicia said, her voice strengthening. Doomsday parameters were triggered. Alina nodded grimly. The facility detected the cessation of all organized human military resistance. The last holdout, from what our limited intelligence suggests, was a guerrilla force operating in the Andes. They fell 3 days ago. Alicia stood, testing her new body. Even at partial capacity, she could feel the extraordinary power contained within her enhanced musculature, the computational capabilities of her augmented brain already analyzing tactical scenarios. "Show me what we're facing," she commanded. In the command center, Alicia studied holographic projections of Earth's current state with growing fury. The Meridians had established processing centers in every major population hub, facilities where humans were assessed for labor potential and allocated accordingly. Those deemed unsuitable were recycled for organic compounds. Approximately 40% of pre-invasion human population remains, the AI reported. Most serve as laborers in mineral extraction operations or agricultural centers. And resistance? Alicia asked, scanning tactical overlays. Fragmented and uncoordinated, small cells operate independently with limited effectiveness. No centralized leadership remains. Major Jackson Chen, another Thunderstrike operative, studied the Meridian patrol patterns displayed above the tactical table. His neural enhancements were specially designed for strategic analysis, allowing him to process complex battlefield data instantaneously. Their security is becoming lax, he observed. Patrol density has decreased 36% in the last year. They think they've won. That's our advantage, Alicia replied. What's our operational capacity? Alina stepped forward. 72 enhanced operatives, including your team. The facility's manufacturing center has produced the equipment we designed pre-stasis, advanced weaponry, adaptive combat suits, stealth transport vehicles. Everything is operational, though we've had no opportunity to field test. And Project Wildfire. Alina's expression tightened, untested but theoretically sound. The dormant nodes were deployed before the invasion. If they survived, they should be functional. Alicia nodded, her enhanced mind simulating combat scenarios, calculating probabilities, formulating strategies. The Thunderstrike operatives weren't just soldiers, they were walking weapon systems. Each had been enhanced with specific capabilities, some for strength, others for speed, some for tactical analysis, others for technological interface. We need intelligence, she decided. Current data is insufficient for full strategic planning. The facility has maintained a limited surface monitoring network, Alina explained. But our information about Meridian operations is largely inferential. Then we go up and see for ourselves, Alicia said. I need a recon team. 4 operatives, stealth priority. Major Chen nodded. I'll assemble the team. The rest of you. Alicia addressed the gathered Thunderstrike operatives, their bodies still adjusting to revival. Prepare for combat operations. We're about to remind these aliens why they should have finished the job. Sergeant Maya Takeda moved through the forest with preternatural silence, her adaptive combat suit shifting colors to match the surrounding environment. 3 other Thunderstrike operatives followed in perfect formation, their enhanced senses scanning for threats. 26 hours after revival, their bodies had reached 90% operational capacity, enough for reconnaissance, if not full combat. They had emerged from the facility into a Montana wilderness reclaimed by nature. The nearest human containment zone was 50 miles southeast, a labor processing center in what had once been Bosman. Movement, 2 o'clock, whispered Lieutenant Rodriguez, his augmented vision detecting heat signatures through dense foliage. Meridian patrol, 6 units. Maya signaled the team to hold position. Through enhanced vision, she observed the Meridian soldiers, 8-foot insectoid creatures with chitinous armor and energy weapons. They moved with military precision, but displayed a casualness that spoke of routine and complacency. They're not expecting trouble, she noted, her neural implants analyzing their patrol pattern. Standard sweep formation, minimal sensor usage. Arrogant, Rodriguez replied. 5 years without significant resistance has made them lazy. When the patrol passed, the team continued toward their objective. 4 hours later, they'd reached the ridge overlooking Bosman. The once picturesque mountain town had been transformed into a meridian processing facility. Crystal spires rose from the center of town, pulsing with alien energy. Humans in gray uniforms moved between structures, their movements mechanical, resigned. Deploying surveillance drones, Rodriguez said, launching 4 microscopic devices from his wrist-mounted launcher. The quantum-linked drones would provide real-time intelligence directly to their neural implants. Maya's enhanced hearing picked up a conversation between 2 humans pushing a cart of supplies. Their words carried clearly across the distance. Heard they cleaned out the Seattle pocket last week, one said quietly. 300 fighters, gone. Doesn't matter, replied the other. No one's coming to save us. Better to keep your head down and survive. Maya felt her engineered heart rate increase marginally. Rage, her limbic system helpfully classified, providing biochemical suppression options. She declined them. Rage had its uses. Let's get what we came for, she said, activating her neural interface with the surveillance system. Full spectrum analysis. I want strengths, weaknesses, patrol timing, communication frequencies, everything. For 3 hours, they observed the facility, gathering intelligence on Meridian operations. What they discovered was both encouraging and horrifying. The alien occupiers had become complacent, their security measures perfunctory, but human processing continued with industrial efficiency, sorting, allocating, recycling. I've seen enough, Maya finally said. Let's find the resistance. The human resistance fighters were understandably suspicious when 4 strangers in strange bodysuits appeared at their hidden camp. It took Maya's team hours to convince them they weren't Meridian collaborators, and days to earn enough trust to meet their leader. Sarah Connor, no relation to the fictional character, she'd wearily explained, had been a history professor before the invasion. Now she led 300 survivors in the mountains, conducting occasional raids on Meridian supply lines, but mostly focused on staying alive. So you're what? Super soldiers? Sarah asked skeptically after Maya explained their origins. Where have you been for 5 years while we've been dying? In stasis, Maya answered honestly. Project Thunderstrike was designed as humanity's last option. We couldn't deploy until conventional resistance had failed. Failed. Sarah laughed bitterly. We failed years ago. We've just been too stubborn to admit it. Not stubborn. Brave, Maya corrected. And we need your help. We have the capability to strike back, but we need your knowledge, your networks. Sarah studied the enhanced soldiers with weary eyes. What makes you think you can succeed where everyone else failed? In answer, Maya approached a fallen tree trunk 3 feet in diameter. With a single fluid motion, she lifted it overhead, then gently set it down again. Her teammates demonstrated similarly impossible feats, Lieutenant Rodriguez interfacing mentally with the Resistance's salvaged computer systems, Corporal Wilson moving faster than the human eye could track, Dr. Kapoor healing a fighter's infected wound with a touch. Sarah's expression shifted from skepticism to cautious hope. What exactly are you planning? Maya smiled for the first time since awakening. We're going to light a fire the Meridians can't extinguish. But first, we need to contact every resistance cell still operating. That's impossible, Sarah objected. Communications are monitored. Any attempt at coordinated action gets shut down before it starts. Not anymore, Maya replied. We have technology they've never seen and a plan they couldn't imagine. Tell me, Professor Connor, how would you feel about teaching the Meridians a history lesson about human resilience? Commander Alicia Hayes stood before the assembled Thunderstrike operatives in the facility's main chamber. 3 days of intensive preparation had transformed the revival disorientation into focused combat readiness. Their enhanced bodies had reached full operational capacity, neural systems integrated, augmentations functioning at design parameters. Recon teams have returned with the intelligence we need, she announced, activating the holographic display. The situation is grim, but not hopeless. The Meridians control Earth, but their occupation has grown complacent. Their forces are stretched thin, their security automated and predictable. The display showed Meridian facility locations across North America, patrol routes highlighted in red, communication nodes in blue. We've established contact with resistance cells across the continent. They're small, under-equipped, but they give us eyes and ears where we need them. More importantly, they give us something to fight for. Major Chen stepped forward. The strategic plan has 3 phases. First, intelligence disruption. We use our technology to blind their monitoring systems and scramble their communications. Second, targeted strikes against key facilities, not to destroy but to create chaos and draw their forces into predictable responses. Third, activation of Project Wildfire. What exactly is Project Wildfire? Asked Captain Reeves, a neural combat specialist. Alicia nodded to Dr. Elena Reyes, who took center stage. Before the invasion, when we first detected the Meridian fleet approaching our solar system, we deployed thousands of dormant technological nodes worldwide. Elena explained. Quantum entangled devices buried in strategic locations. Each contains advanced manufacturing capabilities and weapon systems that have remained undetectable to Meridian sensors. If activated, they form a planetary defense network unlike anything they've encountered. Why hasn't this been activated before now? Someone asked. 2 reasons, Elena replied. First, the system requires specific activation codes that only Thunderstrike operatives can generate through your neural implants. Second, once activated, the Meridians would immediately detect the energy signature. We would have only one chance to use this advantage before they adapted. It had to be saved until we could strike decisively. Alicia retook center stage, her enhanced presence commanding attention. Make no mistake, we are outnumbered and outgunned. The Meridians have planetary superiority and orbital assets, but they've never faced humans like us, and they've forgotten what made humanity dangerous in the first place. She looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each enhanced soldier. We don't just adapt, we evolve. We don't just survive, we overcome, and we never, ever give up. Operation Thunderstrike begins in 6 hours. Prepare yourselves. As the meeting dispersed, Elena approached Alicia privately. The neural diagnostics show some irregularities in your limbic system. The rage response is stronger than anticipated. Is it compromising tactical function? Alicia asked. No, but then it's an asset. Alicia interrupted. We're fighting for a humanity that's been enslaved and butchered for 5 years. I should be angry. We all should. Elena nodded slowly. Just remember what makes us different from them. The enhancements make you more than human in some ways, but it's your humanity that will win this war. Alicia looked at the holographic display showing processing centers where humans were being systematically exploited and destroyed. Oh, I remember exactly what makes us human, Doctor, and I'm about to remind the Meridians. The storm was about to break. Thunder strikes back. Captain Zorax's mandibles clicked nervously as he studied the reports flooding his command console. For the first time in his distinguished military career, he felt something uncomfortably close to fear. It had begun 12 hours ago. Simultaneous communication disruptions across 17 sectors. At first, he'd dismissed it as a technical malfunction, ordering standard diagnostic protocols. Now he knew better. Another processing facility has gone dark. Lieutenant Vexra reported, her normally steady voice edged with tension. Denver sector. All communication lost. Automated distress beacon activated, then silenced. Pattern. Zorax demanded. Similar to the others. Defense systems reported multiple breaches before communications failed. Security footage shows. Vexra hesitated, her compound eyes shifting nervously. Humans, sir, but moving at impossible speeds, using technology we haven't encountered before. Impossible, Zorax hissed. Human military capabilities were fully cataloged and neutralized during the pacification phase. There is no resistance force capable of this coordination or technology. The command center's main screen flickered, the tactical display replaced by static. When the image cleared, Zorax found himself staring at a human female, her eyes containing a subtle luminescence that triggered instinctive alarm in his primitive brainstem. "This is Commander Alicia Hayes of the Earth Defense Force," the human stated, her voice unnaturally calm. "To all Meridian forces occupying Earth, your security systems have been compromised, your communication networks breached, and your command structure is now under our direct observation." Zorax chittered in rage. "Trace the signal. Find the source. Your attempts to trace this communication will fail," the human continued, as if hearing him. "As will your attempts to coordinate a response. For 5 years, you have operated under the assumption that humanity was defeated. That assumption ends today." The screen split to show footage of Meridian facilities under attack. Humans in adaptive combat suits moving with impossible speed, neutralizing Meridian soldiers with devastating efficiency. Defense systems failing, command centers breached. "We do not recognize your authority on Earth," Hayes stated. "We do not acknowledge your claim to our world or our people. You have 24 hours to begin evacuation procedures. After that, we will no longer distinguish between military and civilian Meridian targets." The transmission ended, returning to the tactical display, now showing 7 major facilities offline, their status indicators pulsing red. "Emergency protocols," Zorax ordered, mandibles clicking rapidly. "Contact Orbital Command. Request immediate reinforcement. All garrisons on high alert." "Sir," Vexra interjected, "communications with Orbital Command are non-functional. We're detecting some form of quantum interference across all channels." For the first time in the 5-year occupation, Zorax felt the cold touch of uncertainty. The Meridian Collective had conquered 17 worlds before Earth, always following the same efficient pattern: overwhelming force, systematic neutralization of military capability, establishment of resource extraction infrastructure. Never had they faced a resurgent resistance with capabilities exceeding their intelligence assessments. "Recall all patrols to defensive positions," he ordered. "Activate the hunter-seekers. If these humans want war, we will remind them why they lost the first time." The abandoned subway tunnel beneath former Chicago had become an impromptu command center for Thunderstrike's Midwestern operations. Enhanced operatives coordinated with local resistance fighters, transforming decades of occupation knowledge into tactical advantage. Major Chen studied incoming data streams from strikes across the continent, his augmented mind processing success rates and strategic implications simultaneously. Phase 1 exceeding expectations, he reported to Alicia over their secure neural link. 17 primary targets neutralized. Meridian communication infrastructure compromised across 80% of North American sectors. European theater reports similar success. Alicia responded, her consciousness partially immersed in tactical overlays, while her physical body moved through the Denver processing center her team had just secured. Asian Command confirms disruption of major Meridian hubs in Shanghai, New Delhi, and Tokyo. Around her, Thunderstrike operatives secured former human prisoners, many staring at their liberators with mixtures of disbelief and fragile hope. 5 years of captivity had left its mark. Hollow eyes, malnourished bodies, spirits nearly broken by systematic dehumanization. "What happens to us now?" asked an elderly man, his worker's uniform hanging from an emaciated frame. Alicia knelt before him, her enhanced strength carefully controlled as she took his weathered hand. "Now you get to choose. We have secure evacuation routes to resistance-held territories. Or if you're willing and able, we need people to help rebuild what we take back." "They'll come back," the man said, voice trembling. "They always come back." "Not this time," Alicia promised, her augmented eyes glowing subtly with inner fire. "This time, we're not just fighting back. We're taking our world back." Her neural implant pulsed with an incoming priority message. "Commander," Elena's voice echoed in her mind, "Meridian orbital vessels are repositioning. Indicative of preparation for atmospheric entry and combat operations." "Expected," Alicia replied. Timeline: 6 hours until they're in position for coordinated planetary assault. Alicia's lips curved in a smile that contained no warmth. "Perfect. Exactly as projected. Initiate Phase 2. The Meridian orbital fleet positioned itself for maximum tactical advantage. 27 warships arranging in attack formation above Earth's atmosphere. Aboard the command vessel, Fleet Admiral Kirax reviewed the planetary defense grid with growing frustration. "Ground communications remain compromised," his tactical officer reported. "We're receiving fragmented distress signals from multiple sectors, but coordinated response is impossible. The humans cannot have developed technology capable of this disruption," Kirax insisted. "Our technological superiority is absolute." "Evidently not, Admiral," his science officer countered. "Sensor analysis indicates highly advanced quantum interference patterns unlike anything in our database. These humans are using technology we haven't encountered before." Kirax's mandibles clicked in irritation. "It changes nothing. Begin atmospheric deployment. Target all known resistance strongholds and suspected command centers. Overwhelming force will end this uprising as it ended their initial resistance." "Sir," the sensor officer interrupted, detecting energy spikes across the planetary surface. Thousands of them, activating simultaneously. Origin: unknown. They appear to be emerging from subterranean positions. Energy signature is: Sir, they're weapons platforms. Defensive systems activating worldwide. On the tactical display, thousands of red indicators blossomed across Earth's surface. Before Kirax could respond, his ship shuddered violently. "Direct hit," the tactical officer reported. "Shields at 60%. "Impossible." "From where?" The answer came as Earth's surface seemed to transform before their eyes. Hidden installations revealed themselves, advanced weapon systems emerging from mountains, deserts, oceans, places the Meridians had scanned repeatedly and found nothing. "All vessels, evasive action." Kirax ordered as another blast struck his ship. "Launch fighters. Return fire." But the Meridian fleet found itself caught in precisely calculated crossfire as Project Wildfire activated fully. The dormant defense network, hidden before the invasion and remaining undetected throughout the occupation, had awakened. Each node contained quantum-linked weapons technology that had been theoretical when deployed, designed to target the specific vulnerabilities of Meridian vessels. "Admiral, we've lost the Vexor and Corellian," the tactical officer reported, compound eyes wide with alarm. 3 more vessels reporting critical damage. Kirax watched in disbelief as his supposedly invincible fleet was systematically dismantled by defenses that shouldn't exist. "Retreat beyond weapons range. Regroup at lunar position." As the surviving Meridian vessels attempted to withdraw, they discovered another unpleasant surprise. The quantum disruption technology that had disabled ground communications now affected their navigation systems. Precision jumps became impossible, retreat coordinates scrambled. "Sir," the communications officer reported, "we're receiving a transmission from the surface. Human origin." "Display it," Kirax ordered, mandibles tight against his face in barely controlled fury. Commander Alicia Hayes appeared on screen, her expression stern but composed. "Admiral Kirax, I presume. By now you understand your tactical disadvantage. What you're experiencing is Project Wildfire, a planetary defense system we prepared before your arrival. Impossible, Karax hissed. Our intelligence was incomplete, Hayes interrupted. A deliberate strategy. We showed you what we wanted you to see. While you thought you were cataloging our military capabilities, we were hiding our most advanced technology and our most dangerous weapons, including the 72 enhanced humans now dismantling your ground forces. What do you want? Karax demanded. I've already told you. Complete withdrawal from Earth and all human colonies. Immediate cessation of all processing activities. Release of all human captives. The collective does not negotiate with conquered species. Hayes' expression hardened. Then the collective will learn a painful lesson about the cost of underestimating humanity. We're not just fighting for survival, Admiral. We're fighting for every human you've processed, every colony you've destroyed, every atrocity committed in the name of your expansion. Look at your tactical display. Calculate your odds. Then make your decision. The transmission ended. Karax turned to his tactical officer. Status of the fleet. 11 vessels destroyed or disabled. Remaining ships reporting critical systems failures. Planetary defense grid has locked targeting systems on all surviving vessels. For the first time in the Meridian Collective's expansionist history, a fleet admiral contemplated the unthinkable. Open channel to all remaining vessels, he ordered. Initiate emergency withdrawal protocols. In the Meridian Command Center beneath former Chicago, Captain Zorax watched in horror as his orbital support crumbled. The facility shuddered under another impact as Thunderstrike operatives breached the outer defenses. Evacuation craft prepared. Lieutenant Vexra reported. Security teams are falling back to defensive positions to cover our withdrawal. No, Zorax hissed. I will not abandon this position. The humans cannot be allowed to access our command systems. He turned to his engineering officer. Initiate self-destruct protocols. Overload the reactor core. Sir, the engineer protested. There are 3,000 Meridian personnel in this facility, who will all die regardless when these enhanced humans breach our inner defenses. Zorax replied coldly. Better to deny them our technology and intelligence archives. As his officers reluctantly began the destruct sequence, the main doors to the command center exploded inward. Through the smoke came 4 humans in adaptive combat suits, moving with that unnatural speed that had haunted Zorax's reports for the past 24 hours. Leading them was Sergeant Maya Takeda, her enhanced physiology allowing her to process the tactical situation instantaneously. Stop the destruct sequence, she ordered, her voice amplified by her suit's systems. Now, Meridian security forces opened fire, energy weapons discharging with familiar whines. The enhanced humans moved through the barrage with impossible agility, their adaptive suits absorbing or deflecting energy that should have incinerated them instantly. Maya crossed the command center in 3 enhanced bounds, reaching the engineering console before the Meridian officer could complete the destruct sequence. With precisely calculated force, she disabled him with a strike that paralyzed rather than killed. Captain Zorax charged her, his naturally powerful Meridian physiology driven by desperate rage. Maya sidestepped his attack with engineered reflexes, redirecting his momentum into a controlled takedown that left the Meridian commander pinned beneath her enhanced strength. The facility is secure, she reported through her neural link as her team neutralized the remaining resistance. Command center captured intact. Meridian self-destruct protocols terminated. Well done, Sergeant, Commander Hayes responded. Hold position. I'm on my way. Maya looked down at Captain Zorax, still struggling uselessly against her augmented strength. Your orbital support is retreating. Your ground forces are in disarray. This facility is now under human control. Kill me and be done with it, Zorax hissed. That's not how we operate, Maya replied, securing his limbs with molecular restraints. You're going to help us understand exactly how your processing centers work, so we can undo what you've done to our people. I will tell you nothing, Zorax insisted. Maya's enhanced hearing detected the approaching footsteps of Commander Hayes and her team. "You misunderstand, Captain. We're not going to interrogate you. Our neural interface technology will simply extract the information directly from your brain. The process won't harm you physically, but I'm told it's extremely unpleasant for the subject." Fear registered in Zorax's compound eyes, not for himself, but for what the humans might learn. The Meridian Collective had built its interstellar empire on technological superiority and the assumption that conquered species would remain conquered. If humans could not only resist but reverse engineer Meridian technology, the Collective will send more ships, he warned. More soldiers. This victory is temporary. Perhaps, Maya acknowledged as Commander Hayes entered the command center. But humanity has evolved while you've occupied our world. And unlike you, we learn from our defeats. 3 months after what became known as the Thunderstrike Offensive, Commander Alicia Hayes stood on a hillside overlooking the reclaimed city of Denver. The Meridian structures were being systematically dismantled, their advanced technology studied and adapted by human engineers. Where processing centers had stood, reconstruction efforts were underway. "Impressive progress," observed Dr. Elena Reyes, joining her on the hillside. "The integration of salvaged Meridian technology with our own developments is exceeding expectations." Alicia nodded, her enhanced vision able to discern individual workers moving through the city below. The resistance networks were key. They'd been gathering intelligence and sabotaging Meridian operations for years, just waiting for the opportunity to strike back effectively. "And Project Wildfire exceeded all performance projections," Elena added. "The Meridians never detected the dormant nodes because they were looking for technology they understood. They couldn't comprehend that we might develop something beyond their experience." "Arrogance," Alicia said. "They assumed technological superiority meant they understood all possible technological paths. They cataloged what we showed them and assumed that was everything we had." In orbit, the remnants of the Meridian fleet had withdrawn beyond the moon, maintaining position but not approaching. Diplomatic communications had begun, reluctantly on the Meridian side, cautiously on humanity's. The Meridian Collective had never negotiated with a conquered species before. They were learning this process alongside humans. "The Meridian ambassador arrives tomorrow," Elena noted. "First official diplomatic contact. Are you prepared?" Alicia's enhanced features betrayed a slight smile. "As prepared as anyone can be to negotiate with the species that nearly exterminated us. But they're learning what we always knew. Humanity doesn't break. We adapt, we evolve, and we come back stronger." Her neural implant pulsed with incoming data from global recovery operations. Processing centers worldwide were being converted to population centers. Released human captives were receiving medical treatment and reintegration support. The enhanced Thunderstrike operatives, initially viewed with fear and suspicion by many survivors, had proven themselves not conquerors but protectors. "There's something you should see," Elena said, producing a small holographic projector. The image showed a Meridian orbital scan of Earth's surface, taken during their withdrawal. The planet glowed with thousands of energy signatures, the awakened wildfire network forming a protective web around the globe. "They're calling it the Thunder Shield in their reports," Elena explained. "Their analysts still can't determine how we concealed it from their scans for 5 years." Alicia studied the image with enhanced perception. From this perspective, humanity's defensive network resembled neural pathways, connecting points of light across continents and oceans, a technological nervous system for the planet itself. "The Meridian ambassador will want to know our intentions," Elena said quietly. "Whether this was just about liberation, or if we plan to take the fight to their worlds. The Collective is vulnerable for the first time in its history. Some of the military advisors are suggesting we press our advantage." Alicia closed her eyes briefly, her enhanced mind processing strategic simulations, ethical considerations, and long-term implications simultaneously. When she opened them again, her decision was made. "We'll defend what's ours, absolutely, and without compromise," she said firmly. "But we won't become what they are. Humanity nearly fell because we were divided. fighting each other while the real threat approached. We've evolved beyond that now. Below them, the city continued its transformation. Human and adapted Meridian technology working in concert, rebuilding what had been destroyed. The processing center that had once broken human spirits now housed the Denver Recovery Initiative, where survivors began healing from physical and psychological trauma.